Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, if you hear any like rattling noise and stuff like that, or any weird noises other than the normal weird noises that come out of my mouth, I got a slow cooker going over there with some beans. I made some really great beans last night, and I fell asleep. I turned the slow cooker off, and it was off for about 5 hours. And then today I just turned it back on. I don't know if that's technically safe or not to do, with food. But there was no meat in it and stuff like that. It was just onions and beans and tomatoes and chili and hot sauce. So I should be all right, but still. If you don't see any more videos, that's what happened. But one of the things I saw today, JB had a Saturday Night Live early, which kind of freaked me out because usually it's late at night, and it happened to be early. And he was talking about, they were talking about hollow grinds, and I was going to look in my Levine's guide and see what he has to say about hollow grinds and stuff. And if you don't know about them, this is a really good example of a hollow grind. It's a razor, and it's a hollow grind is kind of a specialized thing, just like most knives are. They're specialized, but if you look at that profile, it can be a big blade stock, but it goes down. But it not only gets thin like that, it has like a convex edge to it. So what I mean by that is, see if we can demonstrate it here. If you take something flat, if you're wondering, now this is really pronounced hollow grind. You can feel it with your fingers, It's just shaped almost like a tube, a slightly bent tube. If you're wondering, does it have a hollow grind or not, here's a kind of an easy way to tell. Get something that's flat, get some light behind you, Let's put that back there. Get out of the way, other razor. I don't know if we can see this correctly. And you lay it across there, and if you get any daylight showing through, you've got a hollow grind. Now, it can be a little bit of a hollow grind or a complete hollow grind. Let's take a Spyderco, which just got a flat grind. If we put this like this and put it parallel, see, there's no daylight showing through there. It depends on what you're using. You don't necessarily need a ruler to figure this out. You can use a pen. You can even use a sheet of paper if it's been cut straight, like a flat edge of a paper. But you just lay it on, you get some daylight on there, and you can see like this Boker, it's shaped like a razor, and it does have a hollow grind in it. Now, a hollow grind, I've been looking through the forums and everything, trying to figure out the history out and all this other stuff, but most of them draw their fame from Solingen, Germany, where a lot of this was made, and it's used because you can get a very thin, flat edge. It's a specialized thing for like cutting hair and stuff, something with not a lot of resistance. Now, the advantage of the hollow grind is it's very thin behind the edge, and to a certain point, the more you sharpen it, the thinner the edge it gets. But if you sharpen it up too much, then you're going to have to either reprofile it or throw it away. But most people never reach that point, But this was just the old school way of, getting a very thin behind the edge, very slicey thing, designed not for heavy tasks, not for cutting through, like steel cables and stuff like that, but for hair or trimming, like one of the terms you hear, another thing is like I'm trying to get this right, a caping blade. And what that is, it's a specialized blade that's thin and small. I see a lot of this, and people are looking at a knife and they go, that's too small, that's too dainty, Well, guess what? Every knife has a specialized use sometimes. And small, thin blades are perfectly fine for if you're skinning an animal and you want to save like the hide or whatever to trim around the eyeballs or whatever. I've skinned animals before, not like a trap or whatever, but you know, try skinning an animal with a huge blade and see how far you get. It can be done, but it's a pain in the ass. It's much better to have a small knife. So, poo-pooing things just because of their size. You know, like, I like big knives, I like small knives, I like all different kinds of knives, you know? I mean, they all have their different reasons for being around. But that's one way of telling if you've got a hollow grind. Like I said, with something pronounced, you can get to where you can feel it, you know, in your hand. When you run it in there, you can tell, oh yeah, this is a hollow grind. I mean, you can just feel it. But with some of the other ones, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, you look at it and it's got a slight hollow grind, and you're just like, is that a hollow grind or a flat grind? And it's not just on razors. It used to be it was like mostly seen on razors, but a lot of knives, you know, will have things that, you know, like a saber grind that also is partially a hollow grind. Let me just check this one with my eyeballs before. Yeah, this one has a slight. See, like daylight in there. This one has a slight hollow grind to it, so it's not a razor blade, but it is thin behind the edge, and that allows you some more stock. But it's not as delicate. The problem with the thin edge like that, yeah, it's good for sharpness and everything, but they can get pretty delicate, you know, where they. Not this one, but I'm just talking about like a razor blade. You wouldn't want to use a razor blade to whittle, you know, on a tree limb. Wouldn't get very far, you know, before you'd have to sharpen it back up again. This thing would probably last a little bit longer, but who knows? You know, I mean. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that one in there for you. Oh, and one more thing. I told you I was debating on whether to get some Rough Rider / Marble inexpensive type of knives, or go with a more expensive knife, this next knife purchase. And I made my decision. And I hope I made a good decision. You can tell me later on whether I did or not, but I went with a case knife, and I went with a case tribal lock. And I won't show you which one it was or anything like that, but that one should be in within. You know, I just took like the regular economy shipping and everything. But with tax and everything else, it came out to be $80. So I could have gotten there's a lot of Rough Riders on my list that I want to get. But the way I looked at it was, buy once, cry once type of thing, you know. If it's good quality and it's a good knife, I'm not going to regret my purchase. Now, yeah, I might not have as many to play with, you know, and everything else. I'm not, like I said, I'm not buying this for collectors or anything. I just like the looks of it. You'll see when I get it why I got it and everything. Basically, I think you'll figure it out. But I just like the looks of it. I wanted to get another case after getting that Copperhead. I just wanted to see, because this will be my second case in my life, and partially in combination with Tobias's 3-part series on, you know, or 4-part series on why he collects case knives and everything. That helped influence me on buying another case. Also, my initial purchase of that case copper lock on. Let me get it, just throw it in here. This one here, I haven't regretted it. But, I mean, this is a good entry level. It's a Vault Series one also, you know. It's like they're only going to have it out for 1 year, and then they're going to put it up. And, like, right now, you may say, oh, wow, man, they just got so many patterns of this. They're all over the place. You watch. After a while, after they go back into the vault, all these places that have them are not going to have them, and you're going to have to go to the secondary market. And then, geez, watch the price go up, or watch the availability go down, or both. So, it's kind of like, it's not a fear of missing out type of thing. It's just like, if you want one, you better get one as far as the Vault Series goes. And that's the same way with like limited edition knives and stuff like that too. I don't know how big of a market it is for it and anything, and that really didn't factor a whole lot into my decision. But once again, I buy knives upon appearance. And as far as case, what had kept me from buying them so long, was, first they weren't on my radar, even though they're like a common knife and everything. I just hadn't thought about them because of my traditional knife saga, you know, where I had it, that's all we had when we had was a kid as traditional knives, and I never could afford just a regular case. It was, you know, a Japanese saber or whatever, you know, you find out of the gumball machine or something like that, but, or make your own knife. But once I got to where I, you know, was an adult and could afford my own knives, I was in the military and stuff, so it was Buck 110 and Gerber and, you know, things that were available back then, and they were just, Buck was a folding knife, you know, with a lock back, but it wasn't a flipper or anything like that. Anyway, I don't know when I'm going off on this, but I've made my decision. I'm going to get a case knife in, so it's only going to be one knife, and we're not going to have a bunch of knives scattering through because of that, so, you know, I'm just going to have to enjoy it when I get it. But anyways, just thought I'd give you a heads up that that's what I did. It's a very difficult decision because then, even if you have $80, you have to decide, do I want a tribal lock? What about a copper lock? What about a suede black? What about this? And all of them have got good things going for them that you can say, yeah, I'd like one of those. I'd like one of those. Well, you've only got this much money. I got up to the checkout thing 2 times and stopped it and had to go back in. I was like, nah, man, you don't need another knife. You don't need, and then I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the yes, you do won over, and that's why I'm getting another knife. And that's why it's going to be a case. That was my whole thought process right there in a nutshell. Nutshell, because I'm crazy. Knife fight, he called him crazy. So those of you that didn't understand my last video, as a further explanation, you don't need to know if you didn't get involved with it and you didn't, you know, want one side or the other. You didn't miss out on much, but what I had feared might happen did happen, and it's just a shame, basically, that if you don't know, just check out Slicey Dicey's last video that he put up. There you go. That's as far as I'm going to go on that. And that should explain enough to figure out whether you want to understand what's going on or not. And that's about the last I'll have to say about that. But anyways, I'll let these guys fight it out. My bet's on the green one, although the orange one's got a little bit bigger mouth. They're both kind of like Stegosaurus, whatever type. Dinosaurs are freaky, man. If we still had dinosaurs around, we would be talking about these bigger knives a lot more. Where's that guy hiding? Yeah. We'd be talking about these kind of knives a lot more if we were encountering dinosaurs every day in our life. What'd you hit on the road today? It wasn't what I hit on the road. It's what hit me on the road. Damn brontosaurus walking across the road, and I ran into him, didn't see him, totaled my car. Yeah. But anyways, there you go. Little dinosaur lore and what's coming up on my channel. And yeah, not a rant or anything. If you want one, I'll try to figure out a rant later on. But these things just come up. It's like with humor. Humor is not one of those things you can't really. If you're trying, then it's going to show you're trying too hard, you know, to be funny. Mine is either it's funny or it's not. Most of the time it's not. It's funny to me. If I get one person to laugh besides myself, I consider it a success with my jokes. Just one. I have low standards in that way. Low-hanging fruit. Easy to achieve. Easy to get your reward. Why work yourself up? Why go for a big reward when you can? Might go for that. Yeah, that apple on the very top of the tree might be very juicy and nice and everything, but you're gonna break your neck getting it when there's a perfectly fine one right here. No, it isn't. Oh, look, the one's on the top. Okay, you giraffe head. Hey, he called me a name. He called me a name, giraffe head. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.